as we go. So, good morning, darlings. I am going to share my screen with you all. We might get started. Ah, okay. So you all know this is applied math. This is term two. And if you haven't enrolled into the class, the enrollment code is there because this is a summit course. So we are still laying the groundwork. So the objective is to assess the prior knowledge of students of the concepts used in this unit. So I just want to see what you all remember. Okay, so the way the class will flow, we are going to have a community meeting question. Then we are going to do the warm up, which piggybacks off of our last class when we were talking about questions or types of questions. And then we'll do a review of the mean, the mode, median, range in categorical data versus quantitative data. And then we will have a short lesson on shapes of distributions and the types of information that you can get from them. So let's go. All right, so community meeting. Our community meeting question: what is your comfort or feel good movie? So, good morning. So, when you kind of feeling low or feeling kind of funky, what um what movie can you watch that bring you right back? And I know it's a goofy question, but it's cool. So again, what's your comfort or feel good movie? Now, of course, I have several. Teacher will start. I like a goofy movie. I like Mulan. I like Love and Basketball and Lackawanna Blues. So like I got four feel good movies depending on what I need. Like a goofy movie is about the kid coming of age and like he's starting to like girls and he's trying to like break away from his dad who just want to love him up because that's his only child. Then Mulan, that's about strength. You know, that's about woman hear me roar. Like I can do this. So that's why I like that. Love and Basketball is, you know, I'm a classic romantic. So that is we've been friends since we were little. We went through whatever we went through. We went to college, we broke up, but then we got back together and, you know, dreams were realized. They had the family. That was cool. And Lackawanna Blues is an old movie, an older movie, and it is about community. It is about a boarding home and how the people in the boarding home, um, first how they got there because they tell everybody's story, but then how they all developed not only a sense of community but a sense of family. So that was real cool. So those are my four. So again, what is your comfort or feel good movie? So I am going to take the question down to see if anybody is chatting me. Nobody is chatting me. Nobody has a feel good movie? A movie that you watch that make you be like, all right, I'm good. Or watch the movie and take a nap. And then you say, oh, I'm good. Anybody? Anybody? Anything? Not today. Let me see. Who else is here? I'm missing. I'm missing somebody. Oh, hey Maro. How you doing, love? Maro, the question on the floor is, what is your comfort or feel good movie? So again, if you feeling down, or you just want to be by yourself for a little bit, what movie can you watch or do you watch to make you feel better? Nobody. Nothing. Y'all still sleeping? All right, so let me go back to my share. What? Come on, man. We're gonna close it. We're gonna go back to the share screen. All right. Well, we're going to move on since nobody's entertaining that question. All right. So we left off talking about quantitative and categorical data. So the warm-up piggybacks off of that. Now, remember, I told you, you're going to have to take notes. So here would be a time when you would refer to your notes. So the warm-up is quantitative or categorical. So determine if the question is quantitative with discrete or continuous data, or a categorical question that has nominal or ordinal data. Okay, so again, quantitative has a word in there that we already know that gives us a hint as to what types of answers will be required. So quantitative sounds like what word that we already know? Somebody. Nobody? We just not talking this morning? Okay. Well, what I was looking for is quantity. So remember, quantitative means that the answer is numerical or the answer can be counted. And categorical means that the information can be split into categories. Okay, either nominal or ordinal. So, first question. So let's step back for a minute. So, if it is quantitative, again, that means that the information can be measured. Okay, like I said, quantitative, that means the answer is a number. If it is discrete, that means it is a whole number. If it is continuous, that means that it can be broken into parts. And if it's categorical, that means, again, information can be broken down into groups or categories. And if it is nominal, that means that the groups are descriptive. But if it's ordinal, that means that it has a set order of things. So, first one, how do you rate how do you rate the dessert served tonight? So would the answer be quantitative? Would it be a number or would it be categorical? Will we be able to split it into groups? And if the response can be split into groups, would the group be descriptive, which would make it nominal, or would it have a range, which would make it ordinal? Anybody? Yes, no, maybe. We don't remember. I don't know. I'm gonna give you all a little bit of time. I have 9:42. So I am going to give you 10 minutes. So 9:52. I want some conversation, ladies. Please. Remember, this is the only day that we will have this class this week. Only today. So we need to get something out of it.
You can't see the chat.
You can't see what, baby?
I said, but you can't see the chat.
I can look in the chat, yes. Yep. You can. And you can chat only to me if you don't want anybody else to see. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got some answers. Oh, okay. To the community question, colored girl. Okay. And this Christmas. Okay. 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 Thank you for responding to those two, to those for your feel good movies. I like it. I like it. All right. So, Brie, what we're doing is we are classifying these questions because your first cool down, I think you have to class. It's called categorizing questions. So what I want you all to do is I want you to categorize these questions. Are they quantitative, meaning their answer will produce numerical answers, or is it categorical? Their answers will be grouped somehow. And if they are quantitative, meaning they can be measured or counted, if they are discrete, that means the answer is only a whole number. But if it's continuous, then the answers can be broken into parts. So it could be fractions, it could be percents, it could be a combination of feet and inches, miles, feet and inches. Okay, so that will make it continuous because you're breaking it down into smaller pieces. Or if the question is a categorical question, that means the answers will either be nominal, meaning they are descriptive, or they'll be ordinal, meaning they have a range. So like nominal would be like your gender or your hair color, for instance, because again, you can group people by that. You can group all the girls together, all the females together, all the males together. You can group all the redheads together, all the blackheads together, all the black hairs together, all the people with brown hair together, all the people with blonde hair. So that would make it nominal because those are descriptive things, hair color and gender. But if it's ordinal, remember that's something that's on a range, like when you go to the doctor and they give you that little card about pain, and it has 0, you have a smiley face. But then at 10, like your face is all scrunched up and torn up. Well, that would make it ordinal because you have a range of things. There is an order from fine to horrible. Okay. So again, what I want you to do in this warm up is use that information that we took in notes last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday we took notes on quantitative and categorical data. So now we are using it. Okay. I don't know what happened to KML. So we got a couple more minutes. Let me text her and see what happened.
Can you send me the notes from the last class? That way I'll be able to write them down.
Yep, we're gonna go over the notes from the last class. We're gonna go over once we finish this. Now, if you all would like to leave this and we can come back to it at the end, we could do that too. Okay? Because since nobody's responding, maybe it's not clear, and that's okay. So how about this? I'm going to move to the next slide, then we'll come back. All right, so here is the review. So on Thursday, we talked about measures of central tendency. And remember, measures of central tendency are a single value used to describe the central point of a data set. So measures of central tendency is the umbrella, but we know the pieces as the mean, the mode, and the median. Okay? So we know that in layman's terms, the mean is the average of the data. The mode is the number that appears the most in the data. And the median is the number that sits in the middle of the data. And although it is not a measure of central tendency, but it relates to the spread, it tells you about how far the data is. We also talked about the range. And the range is the difference between the highest and lowest terms in the data set. Okay, so again, measures of central tendency are the umbrella. But under that umbrella are the mean, the mode, and the median. And again, another descriptor of the data is the range. And again, the range just tells you the distance between the very first value of the data set, or the lowest and the highest, so the first and the last. Okay? So those of you who weren't here, this is what you might want to jot down. So I'll give you a couple minutes. And again, most of you remember this. You remember the mean, the mode, the median. Not so much the range, but it is doable. We ready to move to the next slide, or we still need to stay here for a minute?
You can go to the next one.
I can't hear you, baby.
I said you can go to the next one.
Okay. Now we're talking about data types. Oh, wait a minute. I'm texting KML trying to figure out where she went. Okay. So then we talked about data types. So we have categorical data, and that's information that can be divided into groups. So if it's nominal, it is descriptive. Again, it is a way that we can divide people. So if we go by school grade, we have ninth graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and 12th graders. Okay? The descriptor is the descriptor is their grade, and then we can group people accordingly. Okay? Or it can be ordinal. And ordinal has a set order. Like I said, it's like the pain scale in the doctor's office, or it's like the satisfaction survey that you get after you order something online. You know, they ask you, how was the service? Excellent, needs work, okay, I wasn't pleased, horrible. Okay? So again, it has a set order. That would make it ordinal. Then you could have quantitative data. And quantitative data is information that can be measured. So if the data is quantitative, then it can either be discrete, it can be counted by whole numbers only. So the number of people in first period, currently in first period. Okay. The number of sisters you have. Okay. Those are whole numbers. You know, we don't have halves of people, right? Or the data, excuse me, or the data can be continuous, which means it can be broken into pieces. So that's things like your shoe size. You could wear 5, or you can wear 5.5, you know, or your height. You can be 6 feet, or you can be 5 feet 3, 5'7", 5'7.5". Okay. So categorical data is either nominal or ordinal, and quantitative data is either discrete or continuous. So again, these are the terms that I was looking for in our warm-up. If you decide that the question is categorical, meaning that the information that you get from the question can be will lead to groups, it's categorical, you decide nominal or ordinal. But if the question leads to answers that are numbers, then you are going to decide whether the answer is discrete, will come out as whole numbers only, or continuous. It could be broken down. So again, like I said, it could be percents, could be decimals, could be a combination of feet and inches, could be a combination of yards and feet and inches. Okay? So add this to your notes. And I tried to make this slide. Now it did it. Okay. better. Okay, we ready with data types? Everybody have their notes? And if you need more examples, I do have some. But if you are
Miss
okay,
Hicks, can you go to the last slide for me real quick?
go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And in this little picture, because we know that the mode appears most often, you see that the mode is where the graph takes its turn. The mode is the highest point on the graph in both, in the solid graph as well as in the, I don't know, the 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 dotted graph, even though those aren't dots. But you see that the mode is the highest point in the graph, because that would make sense, because the mode is the number that appears most often.
I'm done.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna take another step back. So now that you have the vocab that goes with quantitative and categorical data, the first one, how do you rate the dessert served tonight? Is it quantitative or categorical? Can we count it, or is it going to come out in groups? Well, we're going to come back to the show. That's okay. That's okay. And I can't see the chat. So before I go, let me see if somebody's chatting me. Let me see. Okay. That's all right. We'll be back. All right. So we're coming back to those questions. I just want y'all to know. All right. So note taking moments. Topic is shapes of distributions. Okay. Now, I want you might need to draw the shape as well as the words that go with them. All right, so we will be looking at three shapes of distributions. And again, the distribution is just, okay, we have now graphed the data, or we have been given data in a graph. And the graph will take on, for the most part, one of three shapes. It will either be symmetric, and this is probably what we're used to seeing. It is symmetric, or sometimes it is bell shaped, and sometimes it is called a bell shaped curve. And because it's symmetric, what does that mean? If things are symmetric, what do we know about it? We think of, let's think of the word symmetry. So if it's symmetric, what does that mean about about the shape? And think about elementary school, Valentine's Day, when you wanted to make the perfect heart. What did you do? And what was your result? How did you make that heart? Let me see if anybody's chatting me. Okay. It's cool. It's cool. All right, ladies. When something is symmetric, that means one side looks exactly like the other. And I use the Valentine's Day because you normally fold the paper, you cut out what looks like one half of a heart, and when you open it, both sides look the same. So the same thing happens here with a symmetric distribution. First of all, the mean, the mode, and the median are at the same place, and it is symmetric, meaning half of the data is on one side of the mean, which is also the median, which is also the mode, and the rest of the data is on the other side. You have literally split the graph in half, okay? Or you can split the graph in half, and one side will look exactly like the other. So that is a symmetric distribution. Again, I would suggest that you know, make a rough sketch that looks like the picture presented. And again, if it is symmetric, the mean, the mode, and the median are equal. Okay. The second distribution is skewed right. And we know skewed just means a little off center. So if it is skewed right, that means the tail is on the right on the right hand side. Most of the data is on the left. And here you see that the mode is greater than the median, which is greater than the mean. And it is called a positive skew. And here, if you had to find the best measure of center, meaning the best measure of the center of the data, you would use the median. And most times we would think we would use the mean because the mean is the average of all the data. But once the data shifts or skews to one side or the other, then the mean may not necessarily be the best measure of the center of the data. You know, if you are trying to find the middle, because remember, all three, the mean, the mode, and the median, are measures of center. We just have to decide, given our data, which would be the best measure. So if it's skewed right, the median would be the best measure of center. Oh, I'm gonna give you, okay. We ready for the next slide? It is the last one. Okay. So we're gonna shift. So this one, the last shape of a distribution is skewed left. And of course, it is the opposite in some ways of skewed right. So in this instance, the tail of the graph is on the left. Most of the data is on the right. And again, the mean is less than the median, which is less than the mode. It is a negative skew. And again, just like if it was skewed right, the median is the best measure of center when a data set is skewed left. Net. Okay, we okay with this slide? Because I want to look at the cool down. Okay, so your assignment is in Summit, and it is called Making Claims with Histograms. So I am going to show you what it looks like. And it's due by Friday. Because remember, today is your only day of class. So it's due by Friday, which means that I am going to be checking it over the weekend, and it will be your first grade, your first evaluation. So this is what let me see if I can make it bigger. All right, so this is what your cool down looks like. Wait a minute, let me back up. Let me take that out. Down here. Switch. Okay. So again, you would log into Summit, exploring models. Your first one is under making claims with histograms. And I'm just going to open the students. So this is how it will appear.
I can't find it, Ms. Hicks.
All right, wait a minute. Let me go back. Let me do this. Let me assign all. Assign all. Assign all. Okay. If you refresh your screen and see if you can see it now. Can you see it now? I'll stop the share. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, we just talked about, let me see, I'm gonna try to move it down. Okay.
You want us to do it right now?
You can do it now. Then you won't have to worry about, you won't have to worry about doing it later. So now, here is the graph that they are presenting you. And they are asking you, what is its shape? So again, it's either symmetric, skewed left, or skewed right. What is the center? They just want to know what measure of center would you use? And what is the center? What is the center of the data? Okay, because the story is 214 New York City criminal forfeitures by amount. So this graph displays the New York City District Attorney's Office seized over $46 million in monetary assets through criminal forfeiture actions in 2014. Most forfeitures were for amounts less than 500. So when we look at the graph,
So basically,
we see the percentages at the top. So 37.9% of the forfeitures were between $0 and $250. Then 16.4% of the forfeitures were between $250 and $500. So first of all, understand the scale that they are moving by. Those lines are $250 increments. So they marked 0. They did not mark 250. They marked 500. They did not mark 750. They marked 1,000. They did not mark $1,250. You see what I'm saying? So first, remember that. Okay. Then at the top of each column, they tell you what percentage of the forfeitures there were. So 37.9% of the forfeitures were between 0 and 250. 16.4 were between 250 and 500. 9.1% were between 500 and 750. 5.7% were between 750 and 1,000. Okay? And then it gives you the rest. So they want you again, tell the shape, find the center. We know that if it is a skewed distribution, which measure of center are we looking for? Okay? Are we looking for the mean, the mode, or the median? Whichever one we are looking for center, then you need to calculate it. On the spread, again, we've been using the range, so we'll use the range. And outliers means, do you have anything above, below 0 or above? I don't know. They didn't say. Yeah, they didn't say. We don't exactly know where the data ends. So you know, sometimes when you don't have enough information, you just don't have enough information. Okay, so for number 2 says for each claim, decide if the claim is true, false, or not able to be determined with the info you have. And remember, you are reading the histogram that is above. You are using the data or the information that is presented in that histogram to defend the claim that they have there. So there are 3 claims. The first claim, most times the police captured money, it was in amounts less than $500. So, is that a true statement? If it's true, what evidence do you have from the graph that justifies it being true? If it is false, why is it false? Again, according to the graph, why is it false? Or if you're not able to determine with the information you have, then that's the answer. Okay? So, true and false, you should be able to defend using the data presented in the graph. And if you don't have enough information, or if you feel you don't have enough information to answer the question, then of course you would choose not able to determine. Okay? So that is your first cool down. The cool down is due by Friday. Excuse me, I have to get my cord. I'll be right back. Any questions? I'll be ready. It's bad. Everything it is dying. Girl. Real bad. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so does everybody understand the task? You understand what you have to do. You're going to tell me the shape. You are going to find the center and the spread, and you're going to tell me if there are any outliers. And then using the information in the histogram, you are going to determine if the three claims are true, false, or there is not enough information to determine. Okay. All right, Ted. Class is over. We're going to revisit those questions, my love, because I want to make sure that you all understand the data. Okay. So I will be having lab. Oh, all right. Try it again.